Alrighty, YouTube is caught up. Let's see if we can hear some sound. Alrighty, YouTube is caught up. And we can, so we are all good for today. Thanks everybody for watching. This is Answering Your Financial Questions Live, number 100, and it is 4 p.m. Eastern Time now, so live from Cabot, Arkansas. This is Answering Your Financial Questions. Raise that up a little bit there. And let's get down to it. All right. Shameless plugs first. YouTube.com/coachstevemoney. If you want more financial content, that would be the Answering Your Financial Questions with Ramsey Solutions Certified, Coach Steve Money. That is this particular stream that we're doing right now. And the Ramsey Show After Show is another stream that we're doing. The next one of those is coming up on July 4th, right after the replay of the Ramsey Show, approximately 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And in between those two is the music playlist, and there are 9, soon to be 10, 11 Ramsey adjacent songs. Like, for example, probably the best example, well, let's do the You Belong Dead Free, You Belong Dead Free. And so that is my, it's only 21 views, my goodness gracious. So need to get that one up there. That has had nothing. Well, the 916, the TikTok version, the 916 version of that has 83, but that's for shorts, so that's a different animal on the YouTube. Okay, enough of that. Let's do the questions. Crazy when sober. Unintended benefit. All right, let's see what that is. I got one of those trackers on my car that tracks my driving for an insurance discount. I have been also, another way you can get an insurance discount is by paying 6 months in advance. Maybe even paying a year in advance would get you even more. But I think my insurance company, which is Allstate, is and use code CSM for Coach Steve Money with Allstate. They don't sponsor me. Don't do that. They'll act like you're crazy. Or maybe they'll say, I don't know about that. I've never heard of that. So yeah, definitely paying in advance instead of just once a month. You can save some scratch. $1 a buck, right? I have been trying very hard to drive like it wants me to and often get no events. All right. I'm assuming the no events is good. Not only will my discount be good, but I have found that I'm getting 3 to 4 miles to the gallon as well. All right, unintended benefit. There you go. Championship 6435 says, baby step 2, pay 5K paid off in 6 months, 25K more to go. Excellent. Today's payday, finally gotten to 24,930 remaining in debt. Started the year with almost 30K in debt, 12K. My debt was transferred 0 interest credit card this past March. I also took out a personal loan for the difference, which reduced my interest from 22 to 13.75. I pay mostly in cash these days. Mostly. I should get that clip from Aliens where she says mostly. On the rare occasions like that you could use it, that would be fun. But when I do use my credit card, it's paid in full now, okay? That's not advised by Mr. Ramsey, because if you don't have a credit card, you won't get in trouble with them. You got in trouble with it before, and so it's easy to believe you might get in trouble with them again if you keep them around. It's nice to pass 3 months to no longer paying credit card interest on newer purchases. On newer purchases, you're still paying it, my friend. So this is why Mr. Ramsey says no credit cards at all. But this person doing what they want to do. The paying off the debt's a good thing. Trying to still play footsie with the bank via credit cards, not a good thing. Pristine Cry 7163 health insurance cost. My employer uses Aetna. Their gold plan is $448 a month for the family plan with an out of pocket. That's not cheap. Out of pocket max of 6,800. I'm curious how this stacks up to other folks on here. How much do you pay for insurance? What are some of your related numbers, out of pocket max, etc.? That seems high. So but then again, when last time I was on a family plan, it was 3 people. So that's all I know about that. So if it's more than 3 people, I would have no idea, especially now, because that was quite a long time ago. Let's see. Dan 13 threat. Are there any drawbacks to the baby steps? Did following the baby steps in any way not work for you? No, it worked totally for me. If so, what went wrong? Looking back, probably people not following the baby steps correctly. Like, for example, I'm going to keep my credit cards and pay off the purchases in full now. So the purchases that you're doing, if those aren't necessities, you shouldn't be getting those anyway because you're paying off debt. Baby step 2, you're not buying crap. You're not buying fun stuff. You're not doing that. But let's see, back to this question. Looking back, what would you have changed or done differently? Started earlier. Started the second I heard him in the 90s on his radio show. And I did not just hear him once. I loved the show. Excuse me. A little agua. Crinkly water bottle. Glad to have them back as a sponsor. Trying to hold it up here so it doesn't crinkle as much, and of course hold it right next to the mic. So yeah, I did not just hear him one time and thought, oh, okay, that's I guess decent advice. And then I love the show and listened to it every night as I was driving back and forth between different arcades fixing video games in Virginia Beach. And so I was like a lot of people. I do see this in the chat today, in the Ramsey Show chat today, and it's like people think that, and I did too, so I totally understand. They said, well, this doesn't apply to me because I don't make that much money. So, because I didn't make as much as the people were doing there, and that's what people complain about now. But now, of course, I get it finally. Because the people that make more money, they most often have the same, if not more, percentage ratio of income to debt as the poor person does. And so it's not like they don't have problems. Richies do have problems too. So when they call, you just need to try to learn from them rather than be jealous of their income. You cannot apply their income, to your amount of debt, because if you had their income, you'd probably be in more debt. But people don't think about it that way normally. And yeah, again, a lot of people do say, well, this doesn't apply to me. I can't do the baby steps because I don't make enough money. But yeah, any drawbacks to them? Nope. None at all. Unless you're trying to be a credit card bro, unless you're trying to beat the banks, trying to get those rewards, trying to build that credit. I don't know what for. Credit is not necessary for anything because you're not doing loans anymore. That's baby step 0. It doesn't say it here, but that is baby step 0. Again, forthcoming video on the missing baby steps, baby step 3B, down payment, and baby step 0, which has a lot of things in it before you even start step 1. Let's see, Key Icy 1475, moving in with parent, 35-year-old man here, single, no kids, no debt, with about $100K in savings. Okay, looking at moving in with parents, changing jobs, and working remotely, or taking a pay cut for work. Why? Make about $88K a year currently. Would afford me the opportunity to grow and reset after a few life changes while spending time with my parents. Thoughts? Mr. Ramsey likes adults to live not with their parents. So that would be his advice on that. As far as, I mean, it would have to like I would have to know more about the few life changes about that to see whether it would be, in my mind, justification for doing that. But I mean, it shouldn't be a money thing. You have 100K in savings, so it shouldn't be a money issue. A lot of people use the justification of, well, I can move in with them, and then I don't have to. I can only chip in a little bit for rent, and then I don't have to pay that much, and then I can pay down on my debt more. And people use that argument. So, but that's not the case in this case. And so, and 35, dog, that's getting up there to be living with mommy and daddy. Hippie Soul 3, Ramsey podcast today may have saved my son from making a significant financial mistake. How to save your son from making a significant financial mistake. Been listening to The Fray a bit lately. Perhaps a new Ramsey adjacent song coming from that one. He's in a position to buy a home, doesn't have great credit, though, after messing up a car loan when he was younger. So today he started asking questions about buying a house, but with his low credit, he was thinking he should apply for a mortgage with his girlfriend. Nope. Negative ghostwriter. This is, the pattern is full. Who has a much higher score. Just finished listening to Dave's podcast today. There was a guy asking about taking on 12K of debt from his girlfriend. I remember that one. And the strong advice, which I shared with my son, is that you don't take on anyone's debt unless you're married. That much is certain. Before then, what's hers is hers and what's his is his. Yep, what would Dave do? And you already know because you already heard it out of his own mouth. If you pass that on to your son and he took that advice, sometimes you can pass on stuff to your son and they don't take that advice. So hopefully he did, and that is, yeah. You do not do anything financially. You do not buy anything with friends or family especially, but you don't buy anything with anything. You don't start up a business partnership with anybody else. Not even family. You don't do a partnership like that. They can work in your business, but it has to be clearly delineated employer-employee stuff going on there. And so you have to definitely get that ironed out if you want to go through that. Because it can, when you start doing partners, if the other partner takes off, guess who's liable? You. Yes, you. So don't do that. Fresh 23 here. Pay off closed current credit card accounts or open current. What? Or I guess pay them off or open current. What? Okay, 3 of the closed ones are as followed. Probably follows. I owe $25.15. I don't care about the percentage rate. That's way too much. This is why you should not do that. Like, ever. And how much you want to bet this person said that they were going to pay it off every month too? Everybody says that. And then guess what happens? They don't. Let's see. 3 of the open ones are... Okay, so he has 3 closed ones. And he owes. So the accounts aren't closed. He just doesn't have access to the anymore. He can't put any more charges on them, I guess. They're closed to new charges, but the accounts aren't closed because they still have to be closed until they're paid off. So, it wants to know which one to pay off. Smallest to largest, dog. It says right there, pay off debts from smallest to largest using that snowball method. So yeah, I mean, all of your interest rates are crazy. So, and your credit is decent. We don't care about credit. People don't get that. People don't get that credit doesn't matter. Have never had anything negative except for the first time ever. Had missed a payment. Yep. See, and that, my friend, is all it takes, dude. I believe 3 of them last year except for the first, never had anything negative, except for the first time ever had missed a payment on, I believe, 3 of them last year. That's 3 mistakes, dog. That's not just one mistake. It's the same mistake, but 3 times on 3 different accounts. That counts as 3 wrongs. So you're doing it wrong by trying to play footsie with it. Close it all, pay them all off, be done with it is the advice of Mr. Ramsey. Also, must not have ever heard of Dave Ramsey if you don't know that much. Dad of 3, 1978, incomes. What up, Sid? Thanks for the reminder to hit the thumbs up button so that YouTube recommends it to more people. That is awesome, Sid. Thank you so much for putting that in the chat. Incomes, I hear people call in and say, we have 3 kids and our household income is $64,000. Is this really how people live? Some of them. Maybe I'm jaded and distorted or out of touch, but how can people live on pennies like this? Okay. Also, guess what? They might be in the Midwest and you're in California. That's a whole different ball game out there. So you're not jaded, you are distorted because you have not a realistic view of America. I mean, you get some pockets out away from the coast, like Denver, Colorado. There's some other ones where it's just so much tax and so much, prices are high, and of course you get income higher too, though. But that's not like the rest of America is, and so when I mess around in the chat and always say people that live on the coast, like the other day it was somebody lived in Boston, and I said move to America instead of that. Yeah, because Boston way expensive, and so if you can't afford it, see the problem is I don't have any problem with people living on the coast or living in a high cost of living area, as long as you have a high cost of living income to go along with it. But if you don't have a high cost of living income, you don't get a pass on the math. You still have to pay for everything that the richies are paying for, because you pay the same price on things as they do. And so, you don't get just because and also just because you were born there. If you were born there and it wasn't that hoity-toity yet, wasn't a high cost of living area, and then it happened around you, that's life, dog. Sometimes you got to move. But how can people live on pennies like that? $64K, 3 kids. I mean, they're budgeting correctly, and they probably don't have debt, perhaps, as well. And that makes it a lot easier if you have no debt. So if you have debt, you're thinking about that as well and wondering how they can do it. If they don't have debt, that's a big part of it. It can be. And that's why it's step 2, to get out of that debt so you can free up your money to do other stuff. Let's see. Frosty Karen, am I crazy for quitting my $200K job? You are crazy, pretty lady. Here's the situation. My husband is stay-at-home dad, all right, of our 16-month-old. We have another one due in November. Okay. Plan on not going back after my leave is done, all right. At that point, we will have $120K in savings, as we have been saving for my husband to go to law school in the fall of 2025. Where's the money coming? Where's the money coming from at that point? We don't know where he is going yet, but based on his LSAT and GPA, he will have a 99% chance of getting something for free, getting for free to law schools, and getting in for free maybe in our area. Okay, hope so. Now we don't have any debt. Already have a condo and $300K in retirement with 35, 38, and 10K. Now, if the condo's already paid for, that's fine, and that will definitely make it easier. See, when you want to do stuff like this, like, all of a sudden, I'm making 200K, and the husband is staying home with the baby, and then you're gonna quit. The further you are up the baby steps, or down them, whichever way you want to, I guess it's down here, but Like you would start at 1, and so 7 would be at the top of the ladder. And so the further you are, whichever you want to say, up or down the baby step, the further along, how about that? Let's use that. Figured it out. The further along you are on the baby steps, the easier it is to do stuff like this. That is maybe that, like, if you had debt, there's probably no way that could happen. Let's see. The plan is for me to be stay-at-home mom when we start school. I mean, he starts school probably next year, and he worked part-time and I work part-time to cover living expenses. Okay. Am I crazy to quit my 200K job, which I hate, to be stay-at-home mom and give up being able to save 60% of my income and live very comfortably? I just feel like, for me, my kids need me more and I want to be with them more. And you are the one that gets to make the decision about that. And in your case, again, not having any debt, you already have a heck of an emergency fund as well. Maybe too much, 300K in retirement already, and they are, what, 35? I think it said 35 and 38, and so still got plenty of time in the market as well. And so you get to make these kind of decisions, and it's actually doable the further along you are on the baby steps. So again, because of I don't think it's crazy. I would still probably not recommend it right away. So he's only starting it next year. Why can't you go? I mean, you don't want to do it. I know you want to be home with baby, sure. But I would probably work another year until he goes to school. That's probably what I would recommend, or at least have. If this was my client, I would at least have them think about it. Anyway, and even doing the math to see how much better off they would be if that happened, rather than her just stopping at the same time and then both just work part-time, which is going to be a lot less money, apparently. All right. Jojo Tiger King. What are your experiences on debt snowball versus avalanche with larger loans? Whoops. Sorry, just do some housekeeping there. All right. Where are we? Experiences on debt snowball versus avalanche with larger loans. I don't have any. Because this says use the debt snowball method. It doesn't say, well, why don't you do whatever you think is best. It doesn't say that there. So some people do use it, and basically that lets you take the larger loans first, or some people do the largest interest rate as well. But the drawback to those using the larger loans first is you're way more likely, humans in general, way more likely to stop doing the baby steps because they're not getting a result quickly. If you do the small ones first, you get wins at the beginning of the situation, and then that can motivate, again, some people. It depends on the person, obviously, but that depends on if it will motivate you or not. Mathematically, you want to limit interest, but with the bigger loan, I'm going to pay a lot of interest either way. Yeah, so then it doesn't matter. You're not saving anything by paying it early in that case. So yeah, the advice would be debt snowball. Mouse Cop 95. What to do with extra cash flow and how to prioritize wants. Too long didn't read at the bottom. Well, yeah, let's see that. More specific, what to do with extra cash flow. So, and how to prioritize wants that we may have when needs are covered. All right, let's see. Let's try the teal deer first, and then we'll come back if we need more of this information, which a lot of times we don't, especially for this question. I don't think we need it. Wife and I save about 8 to 9K per month in savings / brokerage. This is net, accounts for all bills, retirement, etc. Okay, currently I have 30K in high yield savings brokerage, index funds, and growing. Where else should we be investing our money? In retirement, if you're not. I'll check. I think I did see something about a Roth up there. Would a nice watch 5 to 7K for my wife be justified? If you're on step 4, you can budget whatever you want if you don't have any debt. So let's check back to see if there's debt. If there's no debt, that's fine. You can budget whatever you want, as long as you are doing the 15% into retirement, which is much more important than 130 in high yield savings brokerage account, index funds, and growing. The investing in should be in the, definitely do the 15% into retirement, but it does say for there, Roth 401k, there you go. Just started maxing this year. Yeah, 89K, and what do they have in the other? 130K. So you're doing it wrong. If you have a house, let's see. Yeah, oh, so condo, yeah. Yeah, that condo is paid off before you're doing all this other investing. So 15% into retirement, and that's it. And that's why I'm going to do that song. How to do the baby steps right. Because the person is doing it wrong. Yep, and this is taking too long. It should be much quicker, but oh, and I just don't want to get my hair wet. There we go. Yeah, right. So, okay, and so the opposite of that would be doing the baby steps right, which is why I'm probably going to write that song. That'll be fine. Okay, so again, like none of this other stuff is necessary because we got the. I went back for just to make sure they were doing some retirement, but we know with 10 to 15% previous years. Okay, and so even if it's maxing, you shouldn't even be maxing it unless the maxing is covered by the 15%. So there you go, and the match does not, so employer matches 50% up to 6% of income, and so that means you put in 6% and they put in 3% is what that means. They love to put it like that for some reason. I bet it's some kind of legal or liability reason or something like that, or they try to make it difficult for you instead of just saying, instead of giving you just a straight 1.5 up till, but instead, no, we'll do 50% of the. Probably, I guess that sounds better than 1.5%. Okay. What did you, oh, the extra cash flow as well. Extra cash flow that goes down to the baby steps. So, I mean, you can once you're on step 4, you can. What didn't I say they weren't? Oh, because they just had the mortgage. Yeah, so you need to be doing that if there's kid college, and paying off the mortgage early. But you can budget stuff, and what was it, like a $5,000 to $7,000 watch? I mean, that's excessive, and I would like that to be some kind of extravagant Christmas gift, other than just a, oh, I have this extra cash flow now, so I want to spend money. I would rather it be like that. But really, you get on step 4, I'm going to cut you a break and let you budget some fun stuff like that. And so, but your priority should be paying the house off while doing the 15%, addressing kids' college as much as you need to, and if you need to at all, and paying off your house early. You do want to do that. And then once you're on step 7, then that would be a great time for $7,000 watches. You can do that once a month if you want. You have to budget it. So yeah, you're the boss of your budget. And then your budget's the boss of you. Maybe step 6, millionaires. All right, so millionaires. So that means they have the definition of that, doesn't mean they make $1 million a year. That means they have $1 million net worth. That means they owe stuff on the house still. But even after you subtract that amount, from their net worth, they're still, or from their assets rather, they are still worth at least $1 million. With the market doing so well lately, I decided to recalc our net worth, right? As this week, my wife and I are officially millionaires. Great. What does this mean? Well, nothing really, right? And that's the way you gotta treat it like that. I mean, it's a fun milestone, but I would think step seven would be a much better milestone than simply being a millionaire, because then you'll be a millionaire and on step seven, and that is excellent. That's the idea. Let's see. Nothing really. We are actually really struggling this month to pay bills and save for a new car. Why? But it's a milestone nonetheless. Here's a breakdown on value. 515K in equity, so half of the million is the home equity, that's normal. Retirement 4K and salary. Where's all the money going, dog? Haven't seen debt yet. I wonder if there's debt. Where's debt? 5 years out from paying the mortgage in full, 10 years out from retirement. I plan to be a decade millionaire by age 50. All right. And die with a net worth of approximately $13 million. Okay. But why are you struggling? I mean, the miscellaneous investments, you shouldn't be doing that if you're struggling. Emergency fund. Oh, this is all the values. We are actually really struggling to pay this month to pay bills and save for a new car. Oh, you're trying to save for a new, you don't buy a new car. Well, you are a millionaire now. You have $1 million net worth. But for me, I would advise to wait until you get that house paid off before you buy a brand new car. I mean, there could be debt, but let's see. I want to know if there's any. We'll pay it off house and zero debt. We will work approximately 5 more years. Okay, so they're going to pay it off in 5 years. But what in the world? Where's that budget? I want to see something. I did not, unfortunately, look how many. Uh, Here, let's go back up and see if there's any. No, not spilling anything about why he's having trouble. Because where's that income again? Salary, 160, 90, and 60, $250,000. Total monthly take-home pay without overtime bonuses is 7,600. And see, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why when you come in here with your $7,600 a month, this is why people can't relate to you, because you have $7,600 and you're saying you're struggling this month to pay bills. I mean, I guess it's depending on how much you're trying to save for a new car. And if you can't, you got to pay bills first. That's first. You don't even think about another car until you've had the bills paid. So, I don't know what's going on there about the expenses and stuff. It could be some overspending, lifestyle creep possibly happened, but who knows? Just like on the show, always we don't get a closure on it ever. We don't get to know the answers to all our questions. Don't get to know what happened in the end. All right, accurate inflation 167. Where and how does a gym membership follow in the baby steps or Ramsey's framework? You can exercise without a gym membership, so you do not need that. So you're not doing that basically on baby steps 1, 2, and 3. You're not doing that. More and more expensive. Yeah, I'm saying, yeah. I mean, I don't know what Dave himself would say, but for me, it's not a necessity. You can exercise without having a gym there. And a lot of people, guess what? A lot of people get the gym membership and they don't even go that much. So let's see. Would he say it's worth the money, like $50 a month, or would he say to take a walk and invest the $50 a month? Well, it depends on what in baby step 4, you can budget in a gym membership. It's fine. Knock yourself out with that. But like if you're in 1, 2, or 3, I'm not doing a gym membership. I'm not recommending that either. So it all depends on where you are when you're trying to do this stuff. And the further along you are, that's the message for today, I guess. Further along you are in the baby steps, the more stuff like this that you want to do, you can do without any problem at all. After judgment, 885 says credit card pros and cons help. An honest pros cons list for using a credit card. Well, go scroll down and look at the person that was having all the different cards and 25 to 30% interest on all of them. That would be a freaking con, wouldn't it? So the helps build credit which we can use to lower borrowing rates on loans like a mortgage. Yeah, but you wouldn't get loans for anything else. So it would only be a mortgage, and for mortgage you can do manual underwriting. Credit cards offer significant cashback rewards. Okay. And Dave often says no millionaire ever said rewards got me to it. So it doesn't matter. We're not doing that. Only 5 comments on it bothered to comment on it from 7 days ago. So pretty much skipping over it, which I probably should have done immediately. Neat Spray 9660, 10K in debt. Okay, paid off. I have 10K in credit card debt. I also desperately need a car. I'm debating if I should put any extra money towards my debit. It's not debit, it's debt. People always get those mixed up. Or save up. Maybe the phone did it. Phones do things. Or save up for a down payment for a used car. No. Baby step 0, I know it's not here, but can't you figure it out from the pay off debts from smallest to largest and get rid of them? You can't figure it out from the context. You haven't heard Dave Ramsey talk for maybe 10 minutes and you would have heard no freaking debt. Baby step 0. Part of baby step 0 is you decide you're not doing debt anymore, so there's no down payment for a used car. You save up a couple $1,000s and you buy a very cheap one cash. Yeah, since it takes $20 to Uber to my job one way. Yeah, ridiculous. Exactly. So yes, you buy a very cheap car, no payments. Save up a couple $1,000, pay minimums on that credit card debt, and save it up if you need a car to go to work, which, that's approved to avoid the $20 one way. So that's $40 a day, dog. So how many hours are you working there just paying for the Uber ride? So yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, I gotta get rid of that. Reduos 42. Reduos. Okay. Where and how does dental work fit in? Well, if it's my wife has about $25,000 in cavities, and I have one about 500 to 600 in cavities. It's a can that we've been kicking down the road a couple years as we get some debts and vehicle work, taken care of. After almost 4 years, we finally have our hospital bills paid off from kids being born. We have finished the most critical vehicle work. Our only debts now are a house payment, truck payment. Sell the truck and get the stuff done. How about that? Didn't want to hear that, probably. Student loans, $0 a month on the payment different plan, but 90K remaining, no credit card debt. That's good about it. That's good. So let's see, 13K remaining. Oh, roughly 15K value. Ew. All right, so that's not going to help either. Eventually it gets to a point where there's pain involved in there, and so you got to get dental work done sometimes. I'm probably going to go get a separate opinion as well. Unfortunately, our small snowball was taken out by increased health insurance costs, food costs, etc. We had a rough couple of years at work, so wages didn't keep up. Yeah, 2 toddlers, 2 dogs, and a cat. We spend $700 a month on food and supplies. 4 family, 2 dogs, and a cat. 700 is a lot. I have 100 a month spending. My wife stays home with the kids and has 175 month spending. How about no spending then? You want to do the spending money goes into the dental fund. How about that? 100 a month date night. Put that into dental too. Dental is more important than this stuff. 100 a month internet. That's expensive as well. 50 isn't bad for 2 phones. 30 a month gas, driving. If you're doing tooling around town for fun, quit it. If you have to drive that much for work, then yeah, that sucks. Currently, I've marked to save the extra paychecks on 3 paycheck months, and so yeah, do that too. But yeah, I'm saying, I mean, there's money there. You'll just have to quit spending. You'll just have to go to no non-necessity spending. Recent repairs, wiped now out again, savings out to 1,000. That's where it should have been. Oh, and they were saving in the savings account also for the cavities, and then that went away with car repairs. We're not, point being, we're not living extravagantly, but we're mostly comfortable. Yeah, you want to get uncomfortable a little bit and pay for those cavities. I recognize that cavities need taking care of. It's need to be taken care of. I don't know where the to be went to. Probably the same place the letter T did in the English language from a lot of people. If you're curious about how we got so much student loan debt, not really. No, I wasn't. That wasn't. No, I wasn't. Talks about how to budget in dental work. Like I said, you cut out what you can cut out, which is that spending money. Yep, if you're a Christian, you tithe. So it doesn't come out of that. Credit card, terrible idea, right? That shouldn't even be on the list. Home equity loan, no, 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 dumb. Just quit spending money on stuff that's not necessary, even as part of the $700 for food and supplies. Toddlers do not need that much. And so, change your habits at the grocery store, perhaps. And then you can get your dental work done. Again, and that would be more important than spending extra on food and buying toddlers things they do not need. Emergency fund, how? Rainbow Yorkies. Thanks for everybody that's watching right now. And everybody that's watching at any other time. Much, much appreciated. Thank you so much. Rainbow emergency fund, how? Well, without reading it, you don't spend money on anything else. And no non-necessities. Again, if you're doing your starter emergency fund, you're not getting non-necessities for a while until step 4. You stay gazelle intensive through baby step 3, and then that's when you can start spending some really fun money. I mean, I'm not talking about like $25 a month or something like that for fun money. That's fine. But for the 1,000, yeah, you don't, to get that as fast as possible, that means you don't have any until the $1,000 is done. Plan on separating out of the military next year. Take home pay, monthly pay is $3,200. My monthly bills come out to around $1,800. I'm wanting to save up $11,000 before February. How can I do that? What can I do to bring on more income? Someone please help me. I really don't want to stay in the military. All right. Well, we don't see a lot of the bills and expenses, so there's probably stuff that can be caught out of that. $18,000. $1,800 is what that is. And before February, well, you got, what is it? 6 months, you got like 4.5 months, 4 months and a week. to save up 11,000. Yeah, you gotta cut back on that. So that's 1,600 a month, and you have, again, what did we say? See, only 4 months. Yeah, you're not doing that. So I don't know what you can do. You can do the Uber. You can do car delivery. It depends on what you can do at the same time as work in the military, whatever your military position is. So whatever is available, but do anything. Perhaps some of the 5 respondents will have some good ideas. Anyone recommend a bank for checking besides USAA? Worried about continuing to use USAA after these recent stories. All right, located in Florida. There's lots of different banks there. Fit introduction, 1676. Financial coach master training. Anyone do the FCMT course recently? Looks like they have. Oh, make a profit within a year. Somebody did this one already. They did that. I read this one before all the other ones. Make a profit within a year or your money back guarantee now. Really? Profit being the cost of the course. Is that legit? I don't know anything about that. That's interesting. I'll have to take a look at that because so you see the problem is what you can do here. That's Bill Cosby, in case you kids don't know. The problem with that, as you're describing it, is so you pay the money. I was it was half price when I did it. It was $1,000. And what happened, the reason why I did it, I have told the story a lot. That's when we got the Biden pandy bucks. Got the Biden bucks in. Trump gave his Trump bucks, and then now to everybody, and now we got the Biden bucks. And so when the Biden bucks came in, it was a little bit over it was like 1,200, and so the FCMT Financial Coach Master Training was $1,000. It's half price at the time, and as soon as when that money came in, I thought, well, if I'm not going to do it now, I'll probably never do it. So I went ahead and did it. And so, but the problem, you see, is there's got to be a way for them to tell if you're actually trying to do something, because you could just take the course and then not try to do anything and then say, look, I didn't, open up your wallet or whatever. Look, I didn't make any money. There's got to be more to it than that. You got to be able to prove you try to get clients and such. So I don't know about that. I'll take a look at that, and if I have any thoughts on that, let me write that down so I don't forget. Because otherwise I'll forget. Because hashtag dementia. There's a pen. FCMT guarantee. Okay. And that sounds like if I had to guess right now, I think the person read it wrong, did not read it correctly for understanding. But we'll see. Mysterious Can 2846. 150K savings. Keep it. Pay off 6.35% mortgage. If it's above your emergency fund, yes. Or buy rental with 8%. No, you don't buy rental. With that, you would pay off your mortgage, and then you can save cash to buy a rental with. Wife and I live in a $500,000 house that we owe $320K on. I'm 29 and she is 27. I'm in sales, so it's not the most predictable income. But we also own 3 rental properties, and we're thinking about getting another one to set our future selves up for success. Well, you don't get that with a mortgage then. The rental should cash flow $500 a month and appreciate well over time. Should do $500 a month. $500 is not a lot unless you're running them yourself, which is possible. Being in sales, maybe that's home. Maybe he's a realtor and maybe he knows the game and can manage these properties himself. So Mortgage 6.35%. So you're just comparing to 6 point. You can't compare percents like that because that's your freaking calculation. You know what's not in your calculation that you can't put? If you look at a calculator, there's no. Let's factor in if the roof needs to be replaced. There's no button for that. There's no risk button on the calculator, so that does not work. Should we invest 100K in paying down the mortgage or building our portfolios of rental properties? You're paying down your freaking mortgage. And if you have mortgages on the other one, you got 3 of them, sell 1 or 2 to own whatever's left outright. And then you start saving cash for it. This would be the Ramsey way. This is how we do it. We don't do mortgages on rental property, only on houses that you live in. And you don't cheat by buying rentals in cash and keeping a mortgage. So we're onto that. We're onto that one. We know that trick. Why do people determine class based on income? Well, I mean, the more money allows them to buy better stuff generally, so maybe that's why. But yeah, it's not like they're classy people though. I see this all, not necessarily. I see this all the time. People say someone who makes 6K a year is middle or lower middle class. Yeah, well, they may. I mean, that's true. And can save 25% for retirement and spend the rest, all the while upper class 6-figure earners have student home and multiple sports car loans. Yeah, medical debt and kids eating up all their disposable income. Why do people assume your income is your class without even factoring in cash flow? Well, it is your class for a while. I mean, you can play that game for a while, but eventually the student home, multiple sports car loans, medical debt, whatever, kids eating up, that eventually will catch up with you on your income. You can't outspend, you can't out earn stupid. And so that eventually does catch up with you. Or they eventually get smart and start looking at the numbers and say, why are we wasting all this money? But yeah, the class is an income-based thing. That is it. That's how you tell class is the income. Mac 2663, 30 years old, unsure on what to do. Sorry if this is a common question. Brief explanation of my financial situation. Let's go ahead and open her up. Financial 12K in debt, 8K on car, 4K on student loans. All right. I take home $30.18 a month after taxes, so my net, I think it is called. Okay. All right. Doing all right so far. I have $4,200 in my savings, so you should have $1,000 in your emergency fund, and that's all the savings that you should have. And the How to Do the Baby Steps Right song is gonna address this stuff. It's $1,000. It doesn't say have more in savings if you feel like it. It doesn't say that. Step 2, you do step 2 before you start to have more than $1,000, and then it's only 3 to 6 months of living expenses, and you're not saving extra then because you have to do 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time with your debt snowball amount, which was your debt snowball, and now it's your 4, 5, and 6 snowball. My bills come out to roughly $1,700 a month rent, a car loan, ED load included. What does that mean? ED load. I don't know what that is. Should I not look that up? ED load doesn't come up with anything. Electrical design load? No, that's about coding. All right, so that doesn't mean anything according to the first 4 or 5 things in the Google. So I don't think that means anything, sir. everyday load. I don't know what that means. But this does not count food. What do I do going forward? So it calls expenses is load. All right. 17 and so it's 13. After your bills, you have 13 left. 1,300 left. Where's that going? I have a local government job with retirement. Excuse me, make the above amount a month. I'm not struggling financially, but right, because you can get all you want with that 1,300 a month, but then you're not paying down on your stuff quickly, which means you're doing it wrong. And I'm going to tell you how to do the baby steps right. And so yeah, you gotta change that. That's the problem with songs. You gotta make it flow just like the original lyrics, and it's hard to find replacement words to make it do what you want to make it do sometimes. But mostly they write themselves. Mostly. Where were we at? I just feel in limbo, like I'm not building any type of wealth. Well, you can't do that while you're paying off debt at the same time. That doesn't work too well, does it? And people love to do that. People love to have money and a bunch of debt, and then also be investing and do both at the same time. But you're investing and you're making it, and then debt interest and stuff. So that brings that amount down. The idea is to get rid of the debt, and that way you don't have anything leaking interest out, taking it away from you. You only have the interest coming towards you. Not sure how to go forward in life from here. I know I'm not in bad shape here, but I guess I just want advice on how to go about the future. I have roughly $1,000 in spendable income after. Dude, I see 13 here. Just under 13. Actually, 1318. There's 1318. Do the math. So where's that 300 going? But I kind of just do not keep track of it. Not sure where it goes. Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. We have a winner. If you do not have online banking, get online banking and log into that every day and look at your freaking expenses for the last month. Look at every single line and tell us how much stuff you bought that you didn't need to buy when you got debt. Tell us that. So you have to be... You kind of just do not keep track of it, okay? That's gonna, I would almost add that to baby step 0 as well. Start keeping track of it. Definitely. Intensely keep track of it to know where it goes. You have to be intentional about your money, or you know what'll happen? Immediately you lose $300 immediately just by saying roughly $1,000. And spendable income after. And guess what? It's not spendable. You are putting it on debt. That's not spendable. So you're doing it wrong. Some people think about debt like this as that's how it is, about however long it takes to pay it off on the minimums. And then some of them don't even realize that interest is more than their minimum. And so it's just a continuous cycle there, and they're not making any leeway on that. And so, yeah, you got to pay attention. Got to pay great attention. Alrighty. And so, common question? Yeah, I guess. But basically, here's what you do. See the baby steps right here? Do it. Learn it. Know it. Live it. But yeah, pay attention to every cent that you spend. And that definitely is not normal. People do not normally do that. But you start doing this kind of stuff and trying to be intentional about your money, then you do start doing that. And then it becomes way easier because you already know in advance, because you're paying attention while you're even spending it. And so if you spend $10 somewhere that you don't normally spend it, you'll immediately know because you're doing it and you haven't, I haven't been here. I haven't been to Burger King or wherever in a long time. I got 2 tacos today, one for today and one for tomorrow from the Taco Bell. And I broke up with Taco Bell after they got rid of the $2 burritos. But every so often I get a taco from there. Silver Society 7253. Yeah, I distracted myself. I can't remember where I was going with that. But places you don't normally frequent. And so when you are in a new place buying something, it should feel weird because you don't normally do it, and so you should be aware of it there. But some people are just they just don't pay attention to anything except what they want right now. Oh, I want this right now, and that's it. Don't think about where the money's coming from. Just I want it right now. I'm gonna get it. If you have 150K cash in your bank account just sitting there, how would you invest it in the world we're living in presently? Only debt is my mortgage of 120K left on it. Have you heard of Mr. Ramsey before? Maybe you got to listen a week before you would know this, but yes, your debt is mortgage. Mortgage is your only debt, and that mortgage is debt, so you are trying to get rid of it. So instead of investing more than 15%, which you should be doing, 15% of your gross income into retirement, you should be doing that, but you're also addressing kids' college if that's applicable. And you're also paying off that mortgage early, as it says there. So you're not investing it. You're investing it in your house and in yourself being debt free. I've been in it since 2018 and have been paying off extra here and there. Pay off extra a lot. So, and the 150 does, of course, need to be above the 6-month emergency fund, because if you have a mortgage, I always recommend the 6 months rather than lower than 6 months. So definitely, if that includes the 6-month emergency fund, you would subtract that amount from what you put on the house. But that gets you debt free. Then you're in step 7. How about that? Unless there's other. You said that's your only debt. So the only problem is if you're not investing for retirement, or if you have kids that you're not saving for children's college for, and that you do want to help them. All right. Cholo Macho. All right, sir. Paying off mortgage in they got cholos in Belgium. I wonder what kind of accent is Belgium. I don't even know. Baby step 6, flare. So of course that means theoretically that's supposed to mean, people say they're on a baby step and they're not on the baby step. Like a guy that had baby step 2 debt insisted he was not on baby step 2 the other day in the Ramsey chat. People are nutty. All right. Thought this was a little bit of code snippet there to begin with, but no, that's his and putting it in a freaking look at that. Look at that. Put in a little freaking thing like that. Bullet points. Much appreciated. That's much appreciated. Let's see. Seeking your valuable advice. I find myself at a crossroads and need to make an important financial decision. This past year has been exceptionally good for me work-wise, allowing me to accumulate significant savings. Excellent. Excellent vocabulary, it seems, for being in Belgium. Maybe not Belgian, maybe just living there and working there. Now I must decide whether to invest this money or use it to pay off my mortgage. I am debt free. Okay, same as the other one. If you're investing 15%, that's all you invest. You don't invest other money. You put it towards 5 if applicable, and you do have a mortgage, so you would definitely apply it to that. All right. I don't know what that is. Is that quid? That sign right there? I don't know what that is. Let's see if we can find out what that is. Because I don't know off the top of my head. Or the top of my hand. No, don't know that either. Let's see. That's euro. Okay. All right. That's a euro. Total debt stands at $234,000. 134 is my mortgage. What's the rest of it on? So I thought you are not in baby step 6, sir. You're reading it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're understanding it wrong. But I currently owe What? 109 on the mortgage. Having started paying it off in 2020 with an interest rate of 1.29%. My total, okay, so maybe not that good English anyway. I'll take it back. My total debt stands at 234,000. So what's the other 100,000? Oh, it's under a mandate. To date, 81,621. What does that mean under a mandate? Is that like some kind of loan forgiveness thing where it's going to be paid off eventually? Something like that. I don't know what people in other countries do nutty stuff. So, and I don't know all of it. Or even half of it probably. I'm considering paying off the mortgage. It depends on what this is. If this is some kind of consumer debt, you would pay that off first, which would result in monthly saving of about 633 euros, as this amount would no longer go to the bank. Additionally, I plan to keep the mortgage open to potentially transfer it to our next property purchase. No, that's a no. Next property purchase is done with cash, my friend. One of the reasons I'm contemplating this because we're planning to move out of our current apartment by next summer or proceed with the plan. Only remaining debt I would have would be with the bank would be 472. And what's that debt? So you got way more debt than you think you have. You're not on step 6. See, this person, and probably a lot of people do that too, and they just look at it and say, pay off your mortgage early. Oh, I do have a mortgage, so I must be on step 6. Negative, Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. No. You're doing it wrong. You're understanding it wrong. The whole thing. Moreover, I'm optimistic that my income this year will be similar to last year, enabling me to save a comparable amount to what I have now. Currently, I have savings of 180,000 euros to pay off the mortgage. I would need 110, which includes the penalty for early repayment. There's penalty for early repayment. Fun times. Is my thinking flawed? Am I overlooking any crucial aspects in this decision? Yeah. That we know what a mandate, under a mandate is. I mean, that may be, in Belgium, that may be common, but I don't know what that is. Maybe it's common here too, but we don't call it a mandate, perhaps. So, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be, again, it's going to be baby steps in order the same way, and you just have to translate this Belgian stuff, if that's what it is, to English, and then you do the baby steps with it, and it would be exactly the same way. And so for a, again, you fooled me by saying baby step 6, because I thought, well, there's no way he could understand that. But no, it seems like he looked at it and didn't go by the lowest, saying, well, I do have $1,000. Okay, so I'm on that. And pay off debts from small to largest. Okay, does that include house? No, house is down here, and I do have other debts, so I'm here then. Okay, but instead of doing that, it just looked at, oh, there's mortgage, so I must be on that. So, yeah, so I don't know exactly what that is. Let's Google that too. Why not? Let's learn about things in other parts of the world. Loan under a mandate. And of course, you do get mandated payment. The mandated amount in loans refers to an authorized sum that borrowers agree to allow lenders to debit from their accounts, typically for the repayment of loans. Facilitated electronic mandate or email. Standing instruction given to banks. Okay, so that means a minimum payment comes out. So that's like an ACH, automated clearinghouse. So that's just a odd payment that comes out automatically, is all that is. So I didn't know that was called a mandate. I guess it is in America too. And I did not know that. I did not know that. That is weird, wild, and wacky stuff. But still So yeah, everything you're doing is wrong. Do the baby steps, right? It's right here exactly what you should do. There's not anything you're asking in this question that is not here. And so as soon as you figure out what all of your stuff is, you use your savings to pay off your lowest debts. Mortgage is the last debt you pay off. All right. Yeah, I forgot to switch out chairs today. Oh, so I was shorter for a minute there. All right. Asperger's are us. Frequent poster on here. Does Ramsey claims? Does Ramsey claims? All right. 15% 15% of percentage of check should go to retirement. Does that consist of before it taxed or after it's taxed? Okay, got it right there. So good job on the it's there, but not there. Curious to this. If it's before tax, I'm only doing 16%. If it's actual paycheck completely taxes, then I'm contributing 28%, which is it is gross. So before tax, it is gross. And the way to remember that versus how much house you should buy is Dave wants you to have more in retirement, so that's gross. He based that on gross. And he wants you to be less house poor, and so that would be based on net income. Take home pay. Alrighty then. Mikey Larson lives. Advice on how to proceed. Don't proceed. Don't proceed. That's what is that? It's Dana Carvey doing Bernie Sanders. Advice on how to proceed. So I have my $1,000 emergency fund. Excellent. That's step one. Step one. Yay. Understood the assignment for step one. Excellent. And am now trying to figure out how to tackle my debt. I know that if I want to properly follow the baby steps approach, that I should pay off my lowest balance Capital One credit card, which is 1807 at 29.99% interest. That sounds like that's high interest too. So what's the problem? However, I don't want to do that for some reason. However, I owe $32.50 on my 2013 Subaru with 146k miles on it. If I only pay the minimum car payment so that I can focus on paying off the Capital One card, my car won't be paid off until March 2026. What's wrong with that? I don't think it's very realistic to expect my car to make it another 2 years without S-ing the bed. Should I focus on? No, you don't do that either. No, you get another car when you need to get another car. But you pay off that credit card. Guess what? If you pay off that credit card, that's saving you not only the minimum payment, but also the 30 almost percent interest on that. And then you can pay off multiple debts, and then you would have that money available to, instead of put on debt, you can use that snowball to save up for a different car. It wouldn't be a new car, but a new to you used car. So yeah, baby steps in order, always. There's not going to be a time where it's not the baby steps in order. The only way you skip stuff if it doesn't apply to you. And so, kids, if you're out there, here's how you can skip the worst baby step, which is baby step 2. Is that you never get any debt. And later, when you're an adult, you can buy a house with never having a credit score. You do not need one. Debt is unnecessary in life. So, there you go. Jules, $525 is my insurance deductible for an upcoming surgery debt. No, that's like, no, it's not. I mean, that's going to be, I mean, you know it's coming, so you can do a sinking fund to pay for that, but that's not debt. Like any, like insurance things like that, you would just like make payments on it. It's not really considered like a loan or a debt or anything like that. I'm a beginner on step 1. I have a surgery that coming up within a year. My portion after insurance would be about $3,000. For step 2, should I include that $3,000 as a current debt? Thanks for the guidance. Okay, so if it's a year from now, and you can pay off your smaller debt amounts than 3K. I don't have a problem with you setting that as one of them, since you do have to get that surgery, and that should be, I mean, coming up within a year. If that's cosmetic, you're putting that off until baby step 4. Then you can do that one. If it's not cosmetic, if it's something you need, I don't know why it would be taking so long. So with the caveat that it is medically necessary, you can put that 3K amount right in the baby steps at the 3K level, and you could save that up, and you could just keep it in a savings account until it's time to pay that deductible. Okay, stretch 455, how to properly pay off a credit card. You stop using it. One, that's why you stop using it. You can call them and say, don't allow any more charges to this card. You can do that while keeping it open. You can't close the account until you pay it off, though. Have a balance on my one credit card that I know I can pay off with a payday from my job. Thought I was getting ready to say payday loan. I was saying, whoa. Simmer down now. But no. From my job, that's about 2.5K. Okay. But if I do that, I constantly find myself chasing my tail by using my card for everyday purchases because I put all my money towards my credit card. Well, that's stupid. So that, you know how many times you should do that? You should do that once. Maybe twice. But 3 times, shame on you. But yeah, you should learn from that at least one time, or you do understand that that's happening now, and so you don't freaking do that. You have to save money for your bills and everyday purchases. Those purchases need to be necessity purchases, not non-necessity purchases. So they need to be part of your budget, which is all necessity based when you're in step 2. My question is, should I continue buying groceries, gas, other requires essentials? No, or keep 50% in cash to use for those purchases. You keep in those okay, so here's what you do. Here's what you do, dog. I'm gonna break it down for you. Okay, so on your credit cards, any type of loan or anything that you're paying on, you pay the minimums on all of them, right? You follow me so far? Minimums on all of them. And then anything you have extra after the month is over and you've bought all of your groceries, gas, other required essentials for that month, then anything extra of that, then you send that to the debit card. And that doesn't mean you take your account down to zero either, your checking account down to zero. You have to have enough to get you to the next paycheck as well. So let's see, 50, 30, 20 rule. No, you don't buy anything you don't need, and everything else you put towards the credit card. And so, yeah, so, I mean, putting extra on it and then using again is not getting you anywhere. I'm able to use the want money of 30% also towards the payment. Yeah, there's no 30% wants. No, not on baby step 2. I mean, this is a wimp way of doing it. 30% of wants. How about after you get on 4, you can spend 30% on wants. But steps 1, 2, and 3, basically you're financially on fire until you get step 3 done. And so there's no 30% wants. No. I'm not gonna read the rest of it. Don't need to. I feel like for me, I don't need to. Warm Piccolo 2171, and that's explaining my references today. That's like any reality female, basically, like Kim Kardashian, for example. That's, when they explain stuff, the life happens and stuff, and then they have to explain stuff like what just happened or what they're thinking and stuff like. And so a lot of times I feel like for me, and often touching yourself so you know that it's for me. So that's where that comes from. Why do I keep hearing the host say that only 18K can be gifted yearly without taxes? I'm so sick of hearing them make this mistake. It makes me wonder how accurate the rest of their advice is. To clarify, the exclusion from having to file a gift tax form is 18K. That's correct. And so that's probably, I'm guessing, that's all they're talking about. But anyone can gift anyone any amount as long as it's under the lifetime cap, which in the millions. For instance, if I give my friend $200,000 tomorrow, I owe no tax, and the receiver owes no tax. Yes, I will have to file with the IRS saying I gifted 182,000, 200,000 minus the 18,000. That is excluded from notifying the IRS, but there is no tax owed by either party. Ramsey host, please educate. I guess probably yourselves or something like that. Yeah, but I mean, generally the people that they're talking to, guess what? Are not on step 7. And if you're even if you're just on step 6, you wouldn't be gifting anybody any big amount like that. You would be paying off your freaking mortgage early. So they are probably just talking about the 18K as a gift, like a gift for Christmas or something like that. I mean, that's a little bit big, but I mean, if you're on baby step 6 and you want to give somebody 5,000 for Christmas, that's fine. You can put that in your budget. That's fine. I mean, I wouldn't go that extravagant until step 7, but that's just me. So, but that's what I would imagine. But I don't know. I mean, they could be screwing it up. I have no idea. I haven't heard calls based on this recently. But when I have, I think Dave has always mentioned the lifetime exclusion as well. So it's that's all I can think of about why they wouldn't mention the other part. Because there's no need to if they're in baby step 6, because they wouldn't be giving anybody big sums of money more over 18K. No way. No way, dog. Go with the flow. 24 advice. All right. Me, 39, and hubby, 46, have an offset account. What does that mean? What does offset mean in this case? Offshore? Offset account, meaning like just not a checking, not a savings. It's just for like a catch-all account or something like that. Maybe it's sinking fund. Who knows? Guessing. People use weird words. People have weird names for things that like just they call it, or just they and people in their families call it. And that makes me confused and scared because I don't know what's going on. And we have all enough money to pay the mortgage off, which is currently 115,000 bloody quid. That's English pounds, love. The interest rate is 1.85 fixed until August 2025. That's fun in these days of 7s. Currently, we are not paying any interest because of the savings amount. What? Have enough money to pay the mortgage off, which is currently at 115. Interest rate is 1.85 fixed. Are you talking about the mortgage or what that's making on interest on the savings? The offset account. Is it offset account? What are you on about, this offset account? Currently we're not paying any interest because of the savings amount. Is it with the same bank and there's some kind of relationship between them? Again, too much stuff that you think we should know, but we don't. Should we pay off the mortgage when the deal runs out? We don't have any kids and no plans to have them now at this age. All right. Again, I don't know exactly what it is and exactly what's going on here, but if you have that money, interest doesn't matter. The interest doesn't matter on either of them. Interest doesn't matter. You would pay off that. If you don't have any, if you've taken care of all the baby steps and you're in baby step 6, then you pay off the mortgage early. So regardless of any interest rate kerfuffle you may or dilemma you may have within your own mind. Dog, that's a no from me, dog. 13610, 13610. Debt free. Actually, that's a yes for me, dog. You are going to Hollywood. I've been debt free for years. Excellent. And on another sub, a person asked where they should pay off their whether they should, whether they should pay off their mortgage or leave the money in a high yield savings account. I advise pay off the mortgage and live debt free. Of course you did. Of course you did. I mean, that's, you're in the Dave Ramsey subreddit right now. So I would imagine you would either know his advice or be familiar with it, and be following it yourself. So yes, why wouldn't you? I was skewered for that advice. Well, that's because it's another subreddit, and so you're gonna have your financial bros in there, and so, they're gonna. Well, if it's a 2% mortgage and you can get 3 in a high yield savings account, you should not pay it off so you can get that 1% mortgage. I mean 1% interest extra. It's 1% interest on each dollar. Of course, you have hundreds of thousands of dollars probably owed on the house, maybe owed on the house, and then you're gonna just start an HYSA. I mean, if they're comparable amount, that's really the only way you can compare it. The 3% on one and the 2% on the other, and making the 1%, they would both have to be the exact same amount. Otherwise, it's not really comparable until you get the both with a matching amount. One person called me a doofus. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're doofuses. I mean, people give that advice in the Ramsey Share chat. They also give that advice here. 107 comments. I'm sure you got people agreeing with, yeah, well, that's what you should do. You keep that low mortgage interest rate, and you, like it's a pet, and you just make 0.00 whatever percent interest a year on that, which is almost nothing. Let's see. Duvin, another told me that I just didn't understand good debt. Yeah, you do. There's no such thing as good debt. None. There's now a mortgage is debt that Dave will not yell at you for. That doesn't mean it's good debt. And so, don't go into reddit.com/good debt. Don't go into there. You don't want to be in there. It's ironic. A little too ironic. And yeah, I really do think how different some of these sites are. Yeah. I suggested there are a lot of ways to be well off financially, but in this case, I pretty much got laughed off. The sub is an idiot. That's fine. You and I know they're the idiots. I'm debt free with $2 million in my investment account. That's what you should have told them. Making $11K per month tax free. That's the big thing. Okay. So it's one thing if a person would have, excuse me, boy, if a person would also have $2 million, having done his little percent differences and keeping the mortgage around like it's a pet, and saving the money instead and getting interest on it. Now, if they have $2 million in it, then you're on equal footing there, and they can say, yeah, I did it this way, and here you go. So but that's what I would have said. I get $2 million in my investment account. I'm doing blah blah blah, and all that, and and retired. And so I would have told them that if you wanted to get into it with them, but other than that, I would just it's fine to comment in places like that, but what you got to do is comment, and then you don't read anything else there. And so if you want the original poster to read your stuff, certainly write it in there and let the person will read it, and then they'll do what they want to do. But you can leave it from there. You don't have to respond to every idiot that says something about your advice when you go in there. But yeah, the best thing probably not go in there and stay in the Ramsey ones. But you're gonna get some of that here though too as well. $1,000 emergency fund is in quotes, so they have some kind of problem with it. Should I use those $1,000 to make the last payment on my credit card to finally, I guess, be free from credit card debt? Alrighty. So once again, we had one like this last week as well, or yesterday as well. No, was it yesterday? Yesterday on the Ramsey Show After Show, or on the previous Ramsey Show After Show, or the last weekends. Anyway, recently, like within the past week, I've gotten another one of these like that where, so I saved $1,000. So do I use that to pay off debt? No. That's an emergency fund. Paying off your debts is not an emergency. That's where all your money's going to go, except for necessities. But that's not an emergency. So because you already knew about it. So you do not do that. So, and it doesn't say that here. Save $1,000 as fast as possible and then use that to pay off the debts. No. That's an emergency fund. And it's not as good here. I mean, they tried, I guess, to make it a little bit. I mean, some of them are worded better. A few of them are worded better. But on here, pay off all debt except the I was using debt snowball. Right, and the debt snowball does not come from the emergency fund. And this says save $1,000, and it says it is your starter emergency fund. And so hopefully most people can figure out, oh, the debt I owe and have owed for a long time now, that is not an emergency. And so, yeah, that's going to be a negative. Your $1,000, best case scenario, you never touch that $1,000 ever again. It just stays, and so you can put it in a regular savings account. You can put it in a high yield savings account if you have immediate access to it. You gotta have immediate access to your emergency fund, either debit card or check writing privileges, because emergencies do not wait for a 1 to 3 day transfer. Where was I with that? So yeah, best case scenario, you don't ever touch that money. And eventually you grow that $1,000 into the 3 to 6 months. And that's a good idea to put there. Unlike Dave just says, save 3 to 6 months. So this could theoretically mean, I figured it out without it, but this could theoretically mean save 3 to 6 months of expenses and fully funded emergency fund. This could mean you have that in addition to the starter, but no, you grow the $1,000 into this. So it's the same. The 3 to 6 months of expenses starts with the same $1,000 you already have in there, and so that should be on there. So, and you really got to spell it out for people. Unfortunately, it's hard for them to figure it out, and part of it's because they don't want to. Oh, let's see. Effective novel 7831. Excuse me. Primary savings account. Primary savings. Curious age. Marital status and any children. What? My husband and I get hard on ourselves, and I'm just so curious about what. It's crazy no one ever talks about money. We're in our very early 30s. When we're in our late 20s, we paid $60K of student debt. In under 2 years, we were strategic and hustled. Excellent, but also a good amount in our savings back then. We fortunately have no car payments, but we do have $6,000 remaining of student debt. Pay it off. Long story, but I'm not worried about that now, okay? We may try to just pay it off next year with bonus money or taxes. Don't just try to do something like that. You do or do not. Be intentional. There is no try. You're doing it wrong. Currently have $10,000 in savings, which is low for us. You're doing it wrong. Okay, you can do it your way, or you can do it the baby steps way, and that is, again, so you got to have it on here. Save only $1,000 while you have freaking consumer debt. Do not save extra money. People insist on doing that. So whatever. I mean, you can do whatever you want to. I get it if you say, well, I'm gonna have a, and you say that's too low for you to have less than $10,000 in it. Well, you don't have to run it by anybody. And if you want to run it by somebody, my advice would be to run it by Mr. Ramsey, who's been doing this for 30 years and is not just somebody on this subreddit. Even somebody on a subreddit that is a Ramsey Solution Certified Financial Coach. Even. You could just read what Dave's advice is right there. And it says, don't save up more than $1,000 while you have freaking student debt. And see, guess what? Guess what? There's a reason. There's a reason. And you know what the reason is? Because you don't like it. Because you think $10,000, that's low for us. So guess what? If you had made yourself only have $1,000, guess what? Your freaking student debt be paid off by now, probably. So there's a reason. There's a reason the steps are like this. And it deals mostly with behavior, not math, obviously. Graham Wife, is that from the Instagram? Add me on the gram. Any advice? I have an 18% car loan. Not to get any car loan, much less 18%. It's a 2022 Hyundai Elantra Limited, so probably bought new. My payment is $577 for 62 months. I knew I had not so great credit and tried my best to avoid getting a car, but my little one started pre-K and I needed reliable transportation. People are so dumb. If you had a car that was working, guess what? Guess what? Your little one would live in it. You get the car seat and you put the baby in the car seat or the car thing for little babies. Although pre-K, that's probably toddler, and so walking around. So yeah, you have a car seat at that point. You get the car seat, and guess what? If it was safe enough for you, it's safe enough for you and the baby to be in it at the same time. So people are dumb justifying stuff for a reason like that. Oh, the kids, and like the person that, oh, well, I got a second kid. I guess I got to get an SUV now that seats 7. Dumb people. Quit being dumb. I got the car in March of this year and a new one, and that's not the advice either. Question is, should I just try to pay it off as soon as possible with principal only payments or try to refinance first? No, you should probably sell it and move down in vehicle. See if you can get your old car back, or if you have that, use that. My credit is better now, and the interest rate I'm being quoted is 6 to 8%. The interest is not your problem. The problem is you trying to turn to loans for unnecessary reasons. You did not need to get that. Credit card's debt is paid off. I have about $13K in savings. Why isn't the $13K in savings put on the... You're doing it wrong. Again, save $1,000. That's all you save up. So, maybe do the baby steps. Just a thought. Baby steps. You're on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. Maybe do the baby steps. Maybe listen to a couple of shows of his, and then you would know. And then you would know. Somehow you got on the Dave Ramsey subreddit. I don't know how you get on that and thinking loans are fine for cars. I don't know. Research project on alternative investment for retail investors in Canada. Hi guys. I'm working on a research project about alternative investments, private equity. Would love to hear your feedback and thoughts. If you'd like to help, fill out the 60-second survey below. And this is I think this person has posted other stuff before, and do this research project for me is what this is. MSP's 6-month emergency fund. Yeah. 3 to 6 months of expenses, depending on your situation and what you feel more comfortable with. If you're getting a mortgage or you already have a mortgage, I do recommend the 6 month. So I'm 33 years old and make about $131K a year and get up to a 30% bonus yearly. I'm a bit late to retirement savings. I only have $1K in retirement. Just started. Okay. I am set up with 18% contribution. I moved $26K 6 months into a Fidelity cash management fund for an emergency fund and move 18K. Okay, so you have to have immediate access to that, sir. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Fidelity Cash Management Fund. If you have check writing or debit card privileges to that, that's fine. If you don't, that needs to be somewhere where you do have immediate access to it. 18K into S&P 500 fund. I have about 14K in checking account and 2.2K in cash. So my motorcycle a couple weeks ago, gonna use to renovate my house. On selling one motorcycle, have about 250K in crypto. And I'm waiting to sell. I think you missed your high, my friend. You missed your high when it was 72 about 3 months ago, 2-3 months ago. 72K. I know the obvious thing would be to meet with a financial advisor, but want to get its opinions. What do you think? I should do instead. Just somebody random on the internet instead. Do you think 6 months is too much? No, that's not the problem. The problem is your retirement and you having money in crypto instead. So unless you believe in crypto so much that you think that can be your retirement, commit to it completely and do that. Mr. Ramsey would not recommend doing that, though. When I cash out my crypto, should I pay off my house or throw it into a fund? Mortgages at 7.5%. Should I take more money out of my checking and throw it into FA? I mean, these are index funds, so Dave's not going to recommend that either. That's S&P 500 index fund. That's Fidelity's S&P 500 index fund. And Dave recommends managed mutual funds, but because they can make more than the S&P 500. And so you're leaving money on the table by just being lazy and just doing the index fund. Index fund better than nothing, obviously. But so at this point, I guess this is a good question. This is a really good question. I actually don't know what Dave would say to do about that. Obviously, you cash out, but then as far as where the money goes to, because you weren't doing the baby steps, but now I guess you're trying to do sort of the baby steps. And so now you started investing a little bit. And so since you have a mortgage, since you have started investing and you are doing you should be doing 15% of gross income. I guess that would have to be met before you're really started. So that's why I don't know if he would say throw it into that or to just pay off the house. But if you can pay off the house, then that leaves more money. Since you don't have a mortgage, you could put that in investing. So probably that's what I would lean into. But as far as what Dave exactly would say, I do not know on that one. So, but I would say go ahead and pay off the mortgage. That way you don't have that payment, and then now all you got to do is keep doing the 15% investing. Actually, since that would put you in step 7, if you don't have any other debt, which shouldn't have any other debt, or we wouldn't even be having the conversation at all. At that point, then now you can invest more than 15%. You can invest whatever you want. But yeah, since you do have a mortgage, I'm keeping the 6-month emergency fund. Definitely. Because you don't know what's going to break on that thing. And guess who has to fix it? You. Cancel my V's vacation. Awesome. Leopard print tunic. So, serious about the baby steps. That's a good reason to cancel the V's vacation. Hi, group. Since I got serious about baby steps and decided to stop being Dave-ish. Excellent. I did something I never thought I would have done. I've canceled a week-long beach trip I had planned for fall break in October. The lodging alone was going to be over $1,000 plus food, gas, all the incidentals that come with a road trip. I feel a little bummed, but I'm more motivated than ever to knock these credit card bills out of my life forever and go on a vacation paid for in cash. If you have a similar story, I would love to read it. What was your aha moment? Spelled like the vocal group there. I think in regular it's just AH space HA, but we'll take this one as well. Baby step 2 flare there. I didn't really have a moment like that. I just started paying attention to all the money leaving and just like not going to anywhere that was necessary. Like there's a lot of stuff that did not have to be done while there was still debt. And I get tired of paying out the interest to the credit card companies. Didn't want to do that. And so that's how I first just started to decide to actually do this rather than just listen to it sometimes. By that time, I wasn't listening every day, but I did start again at that point from the 90s. Just paid off my mortgage 5 years early. Excellent. Leg Ham 2021. Been on my Dave Ramsey journey for 4 years and just paid off my mortgage. I'm now totes debt free and an everyday millionaire. Excellente. All right. So cool. That's 2 good ones in a row. I think we'll stop it there to plug myself again. You scroll down on youtube.com/coachstevemoney answering your financial questions this stream. I'll be back tomorrow 4 p.m. Eastern time as well. That's Saturdays and Sundays for that stream. Music playlist, 9 songs currently and soon growing to 11 total. Ramsey adjacent songs in that music playlist, and of course the Ramsey Show After Show. The next live one will be on July 4th, 2024, and there's been 376 of these so far. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment. And here's what we say: make smart financial decisions every day.